Hey everybody, welcome back for another MTGO event. This time we fired up a Dark Ascension sealed event. They finally come out online as the pre-releases. So yeah, here's our pool. Just got it 30 seconds ago, and we're going to go ahead and sort things by rarity as usual. And it looks like we have some nice pulls. We have Liliana, Olivia, Cruel Outlaw, Geist-Hunted Monk, Seance. Seance isn't exactly a very good card, I don't think. I mean, each upkeep, so yeah, it doesn't even have haste or anything. I mean, it's really like a defensive measure if you want to buy time or something. So yeah, not exactly something, or at least a rare that you'd want to open and sealed. Cult of the Kindred is just about the same boat. I mean, unless you open like a lot of humans or a lot of zombies, this is, you know, really fringe playable at the best. I mean, even if you had like 10 human or 10 of the same creature type, I don't necessarily know if this would be worth playing. I mean, it's going to be dead a lot of the time, and it's easy to get 2 for 1. So yeah, not too impressive on our Dark Ascension rares. We also got the Grafdigger's Cage. This is a pretty good sideboard ability, depending on if our opponent has a lot of flashback cards, and hopefully that we don't, if we'd have to put that in. It's probably worth quite a few ticks, but not a card that I'm happy to open to play. Alright, well, we'll go to color and start seeing what we got. So we got Galvanic Juggernaut, and that's about the only thing in artifacts. I mean, the Demon Hawbark is fine, but not necessarily the best. I'm going to go ahead and start pulling out the red and white first, since, the red and black first, since, you know, we have an Olivia and a Liliana. We definitely want to be playing those. Vengeful Vampire, 6 mana for a 3/2 Flying Undying. The mana cost is quite expensive, but the fact that, you know, it's a 3-power flyer is pretty strong already, and, you know, Undying makes it a pretty good endgame card. So yeah, I'm not going to be running too many of these cards, but the first one is definitely pretty good. We got Gruesome Discovery. A discard spell is, you know, non-targeted discard spell, as in, you know, you can't choose what the card they're discarding is, isn't exactly the best. And 4 mana is quite expensive for 2 cards. The Morbid is nice. Certainly very strong, because you get to choose 2 of any type, but I'm not, excuse me, I'm not necessarily sure this is like a card you want to be playing all that much, and I certainly wouldn't want to be playing 2. Falconwrath Noble, we've seen this card prove its worth in Innistrad, very good. Brainweevil is kind of on par with the Gruesome Discovery. The nice thing is that this turns on Morbid, whereas this requires Morbid. I might just put in 1 Gruesome Discovery for now, just to see. We have a Reap the Seagraph, which is actually a really good card. By itself, without the flashback, you know, it's fine. You get a literal Scathe Zombie, 3 mana for a 2/2. But if you ever have the ability to flash it back, then you just get so much value. And looking at our lands right now, we have a Shimmering Grotto and Evolving Wilds, so we already have a little bit of fixing for us. So I'm going to go ahead and put both of them in for right now. The Patrician is just, you know, decent. Let's see what else we got here. Altar's Reap is okay. Walking Corpse is good. Undying Evil. This card has gotten a lot of talk surrounding it lately, and yeah, it's like this is the real deal. Like 1 black mana, instant, target creature gains Undying until end of turn. That is pretty strong. The fact that, you know, it only costs 1, and it has such a useful ability, just makes it so hard to deal with. Like, you get to rebuy a creature basically for 1 mana. You know, assuming it's not like a token from Reap the Seagraph. Like, just imagine playing Olivia with 1 black open. Your opponent's assuming, you know, Olivia's gonna die, no problem, but then you just Undying Evil her. She gains Undying, and she comes back. Although, actually, it's an interesting interaction with Olivia and Undying, because she actually can gain 1/1 counters, so as long as you haven't used her first ability, I guess she can gain the Undying ability and come back. Yeah, Typhoid Rats is fine. Diagraph Ghoul is pretty good. Deadly Allure is okay. It's not the best type of removal spell. Like, if they have just a bunch of creatures on their side of the board, then, you know, this becomes a lot less useful. But if you have ways to kind of like wipe the board or have a lot of removal, then this is actually okay. I mean, you might be able to get their biggest creature once in a while. Or if you're playing in a deck that has a ton of removal and they just have a few creatures that they hope to kill you with, then, you know, this can be pretty good too, taking out their one creature. I'm not going to... Well, yeah, I'll put it in for now, but it's not the best card. Let's look at our red. Burning Oil is very good, even without the flashback. Being able to kill or at least do 3 damage to a target attacking or blocking creature is very strong. Talons of Falconwrath aren't exactly very good. I mean, I think in the very aggressive type decks you might be able to get away with this. Randomly, you know, flashing it in and pumping your guy once or twice is a lot of damage, but it's not exactly the card I want to be playing. Feral Redgewolf is, you know, fine, but not exactly great. Heckling Fiends is good in the aggressive decks or the control decks. I mean, if you're just trying to get in, then you can make their creature attack, not block, and then, you know, just go all in on the backswing. Or conversely, you just sit back with, you know, your walls or your big creatures, make them attack into whatever you have. So that's pretty nice. Kesselwolf's fine. Crossway Vampire. Trader's Blood's probably not going to make the cut. Russet Wolves, 3/3s are actually pretty relevant in this format. There's a lot of 2 power, 2 toughness things, and although it costs 4 mana, you know, you could just get the giant or the hill giant or whatever. It's perfectly fine. Like, Near Heath Stalker has been a card that has not impressed me thus far. The fact that it just trades with anything is kind of turns me down. But that being said, it does trade with most things by itself, and then it comes back to do so again. So, I mean, you're usually going to get a 2-for-1 for this guy. Excuse me. Scorch the Field's not very good. It's a fringe sideboard card for decks with heavy humans. And Night Revelers is fine, but, you know, nothing impressive. Just glancing over our green, it looks like green's actually pretty deep. I mean, I don't know if you guys have had that chance to play with the Dawn Treader Elk, but this guy is pretty sick. I mean, 2 mana for a 2/2, perfectly fine the way it is. But the ability, you know, to pay a green, sacrifice it, search for any basic land, and put into plays, allows you to, you know, to make splashes very easy, or maybe just if you don't need this guy, if he's chumping, you can, you know, sack him and get a value. So, very good card. Another very good card is the Scorn Villager. 2 mana for a 1/1 that adds a mana to your mana pool. But then if it flips, it has Vigilance, it becomes a 2/2, and it adds 2 to your mana pool. So, like, if you play this turn 2 and your opponent doesn't play anything, on your turn 3, you can attack for 2 and then potentially have 5 mana. Yeah, that's pretty good. Another great green card is the Strangleroot Geist. Obviously, it requires a heavy green commitment, or else it's going to come down later in the game. But 2/1 haste, Undying, you know, really strong. Crushing Vines, another good strong sideboard card. Depending on the deck, you could easily run this main if you're worried about flyers. But usually this is going to have a target, no matter what. I mean, there's always going to be some type of flyer or some type of artifact, at least in my opinion. So you can run these main deck if you really need. The Lambholt Elder, I've had mixed success with this card. 3 mana for a 1/2 is obviously pretty terrible, but like if they don't ever play anything or you don't ever play anything, a 4/5 that has Curiosity attached to it is really, really strong. In some matchups, you're obviously going to take this out if they have bounce or if they have a lot of instants or sorceries they could play. Instants they could play end of turn. But against some of the decks, like this is just going to straight out beat them. So pretty good. Spidery Grasp, Villagers, Wild Hunger. So here green gets a very good combat trick. +3/+1 and trample is gonna mean that you're gonna usually save your creature and trample over for a few damage. And then the fact that you can flash it back in the end game, you know, just leads to potential blowouts. Grave Bamble, not exactly something I want to run. Here is the hot green uncommon of the set, the Briarpack Alpha. 4 mana for a 3/3 flash. You know, that's pretty good by itself. And the fact that it only requires one green in the casting cost, you know, makes it easily splashable. But the fact that it comes into play, a target creature gets +2/+2 makes this so strong. Whether you're flashing it in during your combat step to kill one of their blockers, or you're flashing this in, you're giving itself +2/+2 and then killing one of their attackers. Yeah, that card's the nuts. Make the Wish, fine. Woodland Sleuth, not a card I'm impressed with. Kessig Recluse is one of the best, if not the best, green uncommon, common. Like, green is really worried about flyers, and this is your giant spider of the set. The fact that it has Death Touch just means they can't do anything, really, until they get rid of it, and the 3 toughness, like I've said before, is just so key. Grizzled Outcast, Spider Spawning, Hollow Henge. Grim Flowering is a card I've wanted to try, but it just seems like mixed success. Like, 6 mana is quite an investment to potentially like draw 1 card, and if you're top decking, like, this is like the worst thing to ever draw. But you know, in some situations, or if you have a creature heavy deck, like, this could easily draw you 5 or 6 cards, no problem. I'll put it in for now, but we'll see where we go with that. Let's work over to our blue. We have Unruly Mob is fine. The Bonds of Faith is fine. One of the new cards is the Thraben Heretic. Very strong card. Very, very strong. It only can remove creature cards from graveyards, which is kind of unfortunate. You know, it can't get the flashback or stuff like that. But the fact that you exile creatures means this turns off like a lot of the scabs. Turns off, you know, spider spawning like we have. And 2 mana for a 2/2, again, is just solid creature. Speaking of solid 2/2 for 2, you know, attached with ability. Skillful Lunge is the moment of heroism for white in Dark Ascension. I think I rate it a little bit less than moment of heroism, just because lifelink is pretty strong. But First Strike means, you know, you're gonna be able to trade Skillful Lunge for a creature most of the time. Break of Day is a nice combat trick, giving all your guys +1/+1, and then potentially indestructible if you have Fateful Hours. Pretty decent. Ray of Revelations, obviously a sideboard card. Midnight Guard is a card that's impressed me. Like, this has pseudo vigilance, but it's almost even better. 2 mana for a 2/3 is just like Riot Devils, but you know, you can attack in and then second main phase play a creature, or attack in and then like they flash something in the end of your turn, Midnight Haunting, Ambush Viper, etc. Then you know, he untaps and you still have the blocker. Some other good cards. Here's the Mausoleum Guard equivalent in Dark Ascension. Pretty good. Lifelink is relevant, but the fact that you only get 1 is kind of scary. Or, I mean, kind of, less than good. We're running low on time, though, so I'm just going to pull out all the cards that are playable here. We got a nice one in the Hollowhenge Spirit. Artful Dodge, no, not a card I'm impressed with. Silent Departure's good. Yeah. So it looks like our blue is pretty mediocre. I mean, we do have a Mind Control, the Mind Control effect guy, the really good flash creature, some drawing cards, and Silent Departure, but it's just not very deep. We'll take that out. Red's not very good, but, you know, we do have Liliana and Olivia. Or, sorry, we do have Olivia that we want to be playing, but we might be able to just play it off the splash, because our red is very poor. Like, if we're splashing red, we might just play the Burning Oil and the Olivia. White's pretty strong, as is green. I think our black is our strongest. No, that's maybe not true. But, let's see. I think actually our green is probably our strongest. I'm going to take out Grim Flowering. I don't think it's... Well, I mean, I haven't tried it before, but I think I'm going to take it out. I don't think I'm capable of running Olivia. I don't think I'm going to be playing black here. I think our green-white is actually probably our strongest bet. Like, these Reap the Seagraphs aren't going to do too much since we're not going to be able to do the blue that easily. I mean, well, you could do like a black, red, blue deck. I could see that, because with the black, blue, red, we'd have, what, probably enough playables. Yeah, we're at 24 here if we did the black-blue. The creature count is a little low, but remember we have 2 Reap the Seagrass and some other stuff. No, I just don't think that's strong enough, though. Like I said before, I think our green and our white is really quite strong, so try to get those back in if I can. Take out the blue. Olivia, sorry, but I just don't think... Yeah, I don't think we can run her. Our black is actually just mediocre. I mean, we have a few strong cards. The ones I'm pulling out right now, but like the Reap the Seagrass, we can't flash it back. Yeah, so we'll take out black. Unfortunately, that means taking out Liliana as well. We might just be going a solid green-white deck here. Taking out all the colors, or the cards that are requiring multiple colors, like Rally the Peasants. We're at 18 creatures right now, so that's kind of high, so that's decent as is. Didn't get any travel preparations, which is a little bit unfortunate. And we still need to cut 4 cards here. Looking at the Unruly Mob, I don't really like that card. Lambholt Elder's, like I said, fine, but nothing special. Oh, I guess Spider Spawning. Probably not that great in our deck. Unruly Mob going out. Okay, we're at 25 here. Oh, I didn't realize we got a Hollowhenge Beast. 5 mana for 5/5 is just solid. He's gonna take most things out during combat. Wild Hunger, maybe? Well, like if we left in the Wild Hunger, if we're splashing red, we can do the Burning Oil, the Wild Hunger, and even potentially the Rally of the Peasants. But, well, we do have a Shimmering Grotto and Evolving Wilds, which makes splash just a lot easier. But I'm not necessarily sure that's the way we want to go. I'm going to take out the Hunger, I'm going to take out the Burning Oil. That puts us at 24. Sorry, this is probably not the optimal build right now, but I don't have much time. I was going over the cards too much. Like, we could be splashing like the Spider Spawning, or at least the flashback of the Spider Spawning, and like Falconwrath Noble, and that'd be pretty good too. Stuff like that, but... Okay, we have one more cut to make. I'm thinking the Lambholt Elder, but I'm not quite certain about that yet. All our white except for the Geist only requires 1, and we have a few greens that require double. It's a little bit of an awkward curve here. Well, I have quite a few tricks, so I don't know if I really need that many, but no, that's probably fine. Let's see. Yeah, the Lambholt Elder is just not impressing me that much. I think we want to be playing stuff every turn, and if they keep playing stuff as well, we can't really afford having a 1/2 for 3 mana. Alright. And yeah, this is a decent card. Like, this is underutilized, I believe. The fact that you can just get a random Grave Dig is pretty strong, and it doesn't really hurt you that much because, you know, it adds mana. Let's see what they suggest here. 15 more land. So they want 1 more white over green, but I think I want 1 more green over white just because we have like the Strangleroot Geist, the Kessig Recluse, and some other things, and all of our white doesn't really require too intense mana. Now's the chance to double check over our deck real quick. I'm going to submit this, but see if we want to splash anything really quickly. Like I said before, the Spider Spawning works pretty well in a deck with this many creatures, especially when you can flash it back and then like have a Falconwrath Noble as well. I think we'll go with this though. We don't have much time. Looks like a pretty strong green-white deck. We have a lot of strong cards that we're not playing, like Olivia and whatnot, but I don't think the black-red was really there to support it. I mean, you could go black something else and splash Olivia, but yeah, we'll run it as it is, and we'll see you guys for round 1.